Hello, folks, and welcome to the podcast from the Pitlane. And extremely sorry for missing out on the last Grand Prix, but we were kind of boycotting the social media, although we are not that much active right now. But we were planning to get back. However, we thought let's go on to this too. But the main thing is we are back and we have a guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bhrugu Joshi, and
Hey, Bhrugu.
he'll be joining us
Hello,
today.
hello guys.
And that's a kind of warm welcome from Paaji right there.
Yeah, actually, I know this guy since last few years, working with him.
Yeah,
Genuine person, motorsport enthusiast, obviously, and
thank
just for
So
just
let him introduce himself. Bhrugu,
yeah,
introduce yourself completely and tell us when did you start watching F1? Why do you love it so much? And what's your prediction for 2021?
And I also mentioned that is Mazepin your favorite driver?
Well, that's an obvious answer. But yeah, hello guys, I'm Bhrugu Joshi and I'm kind of watching F1 since 2011, first Indian Grand Prix, and Michael Schumacher moved to Mercedes team. And yeah, I love F1 because it has a lot of technical side going on things, and they are sort of from past 2 years it has been not that much racing kind of stuff, but yeah, I love F1 still. And yeah, my prediction for 21 is obviously Hamilton 8 championship. I'm
breaking
hoping.
everything,
There
Yeah,
are a lot of
every record over there.
I hope I am jinxing it, but
no, seriously, man. There are a lot of people with you on the same boat right there that think that Lewis will grab on the eighth title this year. But however, moving on to the kind of the circuit that has a boring tag on itself, the infamous Spanish Grand Prix. So a quick race rundown for you. The top 10 of this race were Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, Leclerc, Perez, Ricardo, Sainz, Norris, Ocon, and Gasly. And as mentioned in the last episode, we have started our own the Sivinala Championship, and you
Yeah.
you know who is the leading driver. I don't think that anyone would have to take the second guess.
Hey,
Oh, wait,
hey, Lord, Lord,
I'm not, guys.
Mazepin.
I'm not interested in the first. Tell me who's second.
You
Our Iceman.
Oh my God.
thanks
Yeah,
thanks to his previous race outings, he was struggling last the whole weekend in Portimao. So it only makes sense that is second. But here are the top 10. First and foremost, the Lord, the legend, the myth, the God himself, Nikita Mazepin. Second is Kimi Raikkonen, Sergio Perez in third, Yuki Tsunoda in
Yeah.
fourth, Antonio Giovinazzi in 15th, Fernando Alonso and P6, Lando the meme lord Norris on P7, Pierre Gasly on P8, Carlos Sainz on P9, and our Mick Schumacher on P10. So you see, there are a lot of drivers who have changed teams recently on top 10. So it kind of makes sense. So yeah, so this
and before we confuse our viewers, this top 10 were of Sabinala Championship, the championship we created. This championship will contain all the DNFs, all the crashes, and all those kind of points. And we'll see who win this championship. You already know who's gonna win it, but yet we are still doing this championship. So just wait for the trailer. Trailer is coming soon. We are launching the trailer soon, probably this week. I hope so. We are working on it very hard. So just keep looking out for it. We're gonna launch it on our YouTube channel and on Instagram channel too. So just keep watching out for it. So yeah, move on.
And in case if you are wondering how complicated the point system is, of course, I have designed it. Thank you for all the cheers. Thank you. Thank you. So all the point to you can
Right now, Vanshil just behave like Mazepin.
Yeah,
No, nobody praised
that
him,
was cringe.
but still he's
That
praising
was cringe.
himself.
That was pure cringe, I guess. But let's move on.
but you can find all the points down in the description below. So yeah, give it a look. And now finally moving on to our Grand Prix itself. And before moving on to the race, let's take a moment and discuss Lewis Hamilton and his 100th pole position.
Seriously, salute, man. This guy is
Is he a
the
god or what?
definition of consistency.
Actually, pardon
He
me.
is the definition of consistency. Seriously, man.
Pardon me. I said something very wrong. Please forgive me for this. Sir Lewis Hamilton's 100th.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
How can you forget that?
I mean, I thought that Max had it covered. He was looking strong on his, second flying lap. Perez has already beasted it into the gravel, so I wasn't expecting any heroics from him. Bottas was looking quite strong. So I know I was very wrong, but I had thought that Lewis could be either P2 or P3, and Verstappen might have an edge in the quali because of the just the pressure that Red Bull currently have around them. That it is very obvious that Mercedes could dominate Monaco.
I do agree with you, but I thought a little bit differently. We all seen what Bottas has done in Q3. He's always been that guy who always comes up to the first position on Q3. He always try to gain that position, to get lead in the race. But yet he wasn't able to get that position because Verstappen put a that time 116. If I remember correctly, in Q2 he put 116 of time. I think I'm right. Around that 116.8 or 116.9 something time, and that nobody could beat that time in Q2 on their second run. Afterwards, Q3 came in, and then we saw all of them going into softs. We saw that same strategy in Q2. We saw that same strategy in Q1 also for many teams. Q3, and I thought that if Verstappen could set 116.8 or 9, whatever that was, in first run in Q2, he would be able to do the same in much lesser time, right? Around 116.57, something like that. Then Hamilton go for his first run. He put a time lesser than that. Bottas gone second, and then Verstappen came in, and then Verstappen goes second again. So it was quite an amazing run from Lewis Hamilton. We've seen him consistently win Spain championship for 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
4 years,
Just
yeah.
to let you know, guys, but just to let you know, in a very layman's language, the gap between Hamilton and Verstappen, do you know the exact amount of gap, what that gap is?
It was in thousands, less than
It was
Eight thousands of gap, I think.
Yes,
it
Eight
was
thousands
exactly.
of gap.
it was
Eight thousandth of a second, which is the
Yeah,
eighth part of the blink of an eye.
of a second. Yeah,
of a
Yeah,
blink
just imagine
a second.
the blink of
one
an
third
eye.
of a blink. Yeah,
Yeah, just consider the gap. That what exactly gap is. Thousands
and
of
that
people
was
working onto these racing machines. These two guys driving like crazy over there and putting out this gap.
And
yeah.
regardless the
Um,
result of the
That's why we love F1.
exactly.
exactly, man,
You
exactly.
can't predict anything.
And regardless of this Spanish Grand Prix, the championship still looks pretty close, given the past 2 years, in particular 2019 and 2020, the kind of domination that Mercedes have shown. This year does look that Max could at least challenge till round, say 16 or 15, maybe till almost past the halfway mark, I guess. There are a lot of changes after mid-season break. That is for sure. A lot of teams bring in upgrades, and some give up developing their car, especially with 2022 regulation around the corner. So there will be a lot of ups and downs. But yeah, getting this Grand Prix underway, turn one, as usual, Verstappen versus Hamilton. Verstappen sending it down the inside of turn one, and it was just okay. I'll catch you later. Skips to the side and.
But that move was aggressive. That move was aggressive.
Very, very
Seriously.
aggressive.
But he had
Yeah.
that choice. He had that chance only to pass Hamilton. So why anyone would lose it? Definitely. But
The same
again,
thing he did
appreciation
in.
and again an appreciation for the great start from Max. Amazing. The reaction time was better than Lewis.
Yeah, exactly. Not just the reaction time, the starting of the lap was amazing for him too.
Yeah.
Exactly as similar to the Italy, I think.
Imola, right?
Yeah,
Although
as similar to Imola, he had the same pace as when he did the move on the first turn. When he did, in Imola, he did the same thing. He went aggressive on the first turn and he got the lead. Same thing he did on the in
Exactly. Yeah.
Spain's GB.
yeah.
So it was an amazing for him.
What do you
And
think?
I guess the when the lap ended, the gap was around 1.2. I guess 1.2 seconds.
1.5, yeah.
1.5,
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, what do you think
Amazing lap.
about the move, Bhrugu? What do you think about it?
Well, it was obviously, as Pari said, it was a very aggressive move. I don't know how they just didn't crash. And yeah, Hamilton just left that. Yeah, I'll leave that on strategy. I'll catch you later.
You know,
But yeah, that did disturb
also
Bottas. But yeah,
disappoints when it comes to strategies. Coming on to that later, but I would like to take this moment to appreciate how crazy that pit stop gamble was. It could have backfired. Just imagine if Lewis had locked up on cold tires and things like that. So kudos to the Mercedes team. But however, we are moving on. Turn three. And a very unexpected thing happened. Charles Leclerc around the outside on turn three on our dear boy Valtteri Bottas. And
He
Bottas,
pulled an Alonso in.
uh, in a Ferrari.
2013, Alonso did the same thing in a
Yeah.
Ferrari against
Exactly.
a Mercedes at
Against
the
the
same
Mercedes.
turn at the same lap. So
Yeah.
he did the same thing as Alonso did, and the same side. Alonso also overtook him from the left side, outside of the turn, and he did the same thing. He took the overtake over Mercedes outside of the turn three. So it was an amazing. Bottas was under a little bit of pressure. He was still, recovering from that breaking point against the Hamilton, as Hamilton had to back out from Verstappen's aggressive move, and that led to whole grid backing out behind him. So when Hamilton starts recovering, he could recover very quickly, but Bottas wasn't able to recover very quickly. So that's how Leclerc got the chance, and he took that chance.
but to spare some stake to Bottas, the grid on the right side of the track, which had Max and Charles Leclerc on P2 and P4, had dramatically clear the discarded rubber, which helped both Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc with their starts. You have the minimal amount of wheel spin when there is less amount of marbles, as we call them, on the track. So that definitely helped him. Obviously, you have cars in front of you, so it is very easy to get a slipstream. And I think that is the most crucial thing that handed Charles Leclerc the position. Your thoughts, Paji?
Amazing move, first of all. But if you look out, I think most of Formula One pages have just kept the comparison video of the same. If you just look out the handling of the cars back in 2012, 13, and here in 2020, 21, the easiness you feel. Charles Leclerc was very comfortable with that move. He was doing the steering input was very at top notch, but at the same time, Alonso he was struggling with the car at that point. He was just pushing the car to just keep the car on the track.
It's
But at
all
the same
about
time, here,
it is all about downforce, man. Downforce
yeah,
has
exactly.
evolved.
I'm just trying to compare the cars of what the technology and what the manpower and what the
And
knowledge.
if you look at the graphics, both of them, comparing the sides, if you look at those graphics, you'll see that top speed of Alonso was around 260 km per hour,
Yeah,
while Charles Leclerc was going much faster than him. So
exactly.
it's definitely we can see there how much F1 car has been,
Evolved.
evolved in an amazing machine,
Yeah.
which
All in all,
so
current
Bhrugu, give us some insight about it. You've been experienced with some. I've heard from Paaji that you've been experienced in this kind of thing. So just give us some insights.
Yeah, the old cars were short in length and they were nimble, obviously because they are short in length. And in corners like that in Barcelona, turn 1, 2, 3, you just have the car in rotation. So if you go around the outside, it's just very hard to go around outside, because if you put a single wrong foot on the accelerator pedal and that's it, if you spin or you just end up in a gravel. So yeah, if we can compare with the what Fernando did, it was a great move from Fernando. But yeah, as you guys said, that cars have evolved very greatly, and if you watch the Charles's move around the outside, it was very much smoother than the Fernando,
of
because cars are crazy lengthy. I mean, they are very long cars. These cars in 2021. So yeah, you have that just just that benefit, that car is less nimble to go around the corner. You get that stability from the chassis, and you can move around from the outside very easily.
to cut the long story short here, the current gen cars are big bad brothers of previous gen,
Obviously.
cars. However, moving on, and this would relate to a Vinala Championship. First retirement of the race, the first blood, as we like to call it here in Nation Formula One and podcast from the pit lane, was Yuki Tsunoda, who was in the news uh, regarding his speech over the radio in qualifying. But this guy
And
had best of the weekends in Spain, did he?
and literally, right, Yuki would be thinking that, man, I was complaining you. Why didn't you listen to me? If you would have listened to me, we would have get two cars into the points. So yeah, I
Fernando would be
couldn't say
passing
anything.
him around the turn 10, and he would be like, first time with the Honda engine, boy.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a lot of Honda DNFs under his belt, Fernando.
Not GP2 anymore.
I mean, after the insults from Fernando, the Honda got so frustrated that they'll be leaving Formula One next year. That's the impact that Fernando Alonso has on sport. But yeah, this was a first heartbreak for our dear rookie in the field. What are your thoughts that how will Yuki Tsunoda cope with this? Guys, so
Yeah.
let's go ahead with Bhrugu. Bhrugu,
Let's just move on, because we all want to say one thing, that Yuki was complaining literally in
Yeah.
qualifying, and they didn't listen to Louis, because I think there's a thing going on in F1 right now. They don't listen to second drivers. They are just focusing on their first drivers, and because they think that first drivers are the only one who's considered, who will be take this team into the points, and that's the reason why they didn't listen to Yuki. Yuki had to apologize in front of everyone on social media, and then what happened in the race.
The other
Looks like
day.
someone had a call from Marco itself.
I
Uh,
think that
nice
is
one.
just PR people playing games, go apologize
Yeah,
on social media and stuff. So yeah, it's better to keep this aside and
But at the same time, a good content for Netflix Down to Survive.
yeah,
Try to survive season 4.
yeah. And the Netflix will be
Are
happier.
you? Are you?
This
Rivalry.
2021 Netflix will be like counting money, because they'll be like, oh man, we don't have to make anything
Exactly.
from out this. we are getting contents for free, man.
Exactly.
To make Nikita Mazepin as the poster boy for Drive to Survive Season 4 with a crash somewhere on Monaco.
I've got an idea for Netflix right now. If Netflix is listening, I'm gonna tag Netflix on this portion for video. I'm gonna give an idea to Netflix. Make a mafia from of mafia kind of dress and everything for Mazepin. Put him in a poster and literally say drive or survive.
Do you want to play GTA over here? Are you serious?
because
Playing
because
it.
it is like Grand Theft Auto. Either you have to overtake Mazepin like you are
like
racing
like
him.
like 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 we play GTA down here. Every
Yeah,
time we cross, each and everyone is scolding us. Do you want to play that over here? Like
yeah,
seriously?
Sometimes
yeah.
that down somewhere in Haas facility, Mick Schumacher is putting in hours on the simulator, doing various long runs and quali runs and all. Nikita Mazepin would come along and push Mick and say, "आज गाड़ी तेरा भाई चलाएगा." Kind of
Spin करेगा.
Yeah.
Spin करेगा.
spin करेगा.
Hey,
I'll go
he
for a
wouldn't
spin.
even do that. He'll say, no, you do everything. I'll sit here and I'll party.
चल गेड़ी मार के
This
आते
is what
I'll take a
this
car
is
for
what
a spin.
yeah.
will be
I don't do this kind of simulator and things. I do real life racing. He'll, he'll talk like that.
I mean, we'll be
Bring-
seeing a lot of Mazepin Geddes over this season, I guess.
But don't forget he's improving. He didn't spin in
Yeah,
Barcelona.
Yeah, because
yeah.
he was busy obstructing other
You
drivers
know,
on the
this,
road track.
can you see this? Can you see this? All of a suddenness on my face. I was laughing. He may lose this content. Keep an eye on it.
But
No. That is true. Besides jokes apart, but both the Haas drivers have improved since the first
Improved,
race.
exactly. Yes, that's what I'm pointing about. In Portimao also, we were not expecting a good move from Mick Schumacher. He did, but at the same time, over here in this Barcelona, they were consistent, no doubt, on the backside, but they were consistent.
at least
They
they're
had a
challenging
pretty good race. They had a pretty good race.
That like
Strategy, I think, worked.
but
If
at
you've
the
seen the
At the end of
Spain
the day,
race, yeah,
but at the
yeah,
end of the day,
you've seen
the
that
point
Mick
was
Schumacher,
consistent. Yeah,
Mick
please
Schumacher
continue.
was challenging Giovinazzi at some
Exactly,
point.
exactly. And
Alfa
at the same
Haas is challenging Alfa Romeo
that's true.
at one point, who set fastest lap in qualifying.
But actually, at the
That
same
car
time, the both drivers were consistent, but and didn't had any sort of a costing mistake.
yeah, and Mick is
yeah,
the guy who is
there's a lot
known
of
for that. Yeah, Mick is the guy is known
exactly.
that he's not comfortable with the car in first year in junior formulas, and exactly he's doing that in first year in Formula One, which means yeah they have made some progress.
I think
Exactly.
They met some and exactly there's that.
all the rookies this year on the grid, Mick Schumacher could be the biggest prospect 3 to 5 years down the road, and at least if not Ferrari, I say him in at least a competitive state, say McLaren. That is, those
Yeah.
guys are on a roll. So if one of the drivers goes out or stands out a season, then I think Mick could be on his way, because I don't think that Ferrari would be letting go of Charles Leclerc or Carlos Sainz anytime soon, not for the foreseeable future at least. So the next good team is either McLaren or Alpine, and I could say, if Ferrari driver academy doesn't interfere, Mick Schumacher could.
Exactly. That's what about to point you out once you're down here, because Mick is a Ferrari driver academy and McLaren and Alpine.
Those
I'm not sure about
on
Alpine, but McLaren is having a good relation with Mercedes, so you never know.
But if
There's a lot of time for Mick Schumacher to get into Ferrari right now. But
Yeah,
if someone sees the potential he has, the protege that everyone was looking for after Michael Schumacher, then Mick Schumacher is standing out in every position there is to be. And he is a complete protege for right now. And if Ferrari let other teams get their drivers, then I think either Aston Martin or Alpine would be the great choice for Mick Schumacher right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because McLaren is
That's
too
for
far
sure.
away from him.
Right.
McLaren and Ferrari both are too far away from him. Yet because we are seeing that Lando Norris is doing amazing with McLaren,
Yeah.
so they're not gonna swap Lando. And Daniel has just swapped in McLaren. So I'm gonna think for 2 years we're gonna see Daniel in McLaren.
Right.
And if you look at Ferrari, Ferrari has both the young drivers, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. So I don't think Ferrari is gonna swap their drivers in any future 2-3 years for right.
Yeah.
So if they think that Alonso is not the best fit for Alpine right now, and Alonso should stay on the bench for another year, if 2021 season doesn't go the way Alonso wanted, then I think Alpine could go for Mick Schumacher,
Big dreams
and
all
Alonso has to go
about
for
Mick
Haas.
Schumacher. A lot of big expectation on his shoulder from Nation Formula One guys on podcast.
Yeah.
However, moving
Because
on. Yeah, you saying?
yeah, sure. No, sure.
Okay.
I was just saying that Nick has showed that potential. That's why people are expecting things from him.
Okay. Yeah.
In a Haas, if you are challenging Alfa Romeo and Williams in that kind of Haas, in 2020's Haas, then definitely you have potential to win a championship.
And
Yeah.
not to mention, the name Schumacher comes with expectations.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So moving on,
Great.
the next big incident would be the pit stop and Verstappen's slow pit stop. But in the meantime, there were some tense midfield battles, especially around the turn 3 and turn 4. Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso, and all the midfield cars
Yeah,
go
but
crazy on the right
but
hand.
Vanshil, we forgot one thing. Pierre Gasly's penalty.
Yeah, but that came
Yeah.
somewhere after the Verstappen pit stop, chronologically. But
Yeah. Exactly.
No, chronologically, in on the 19th lap, Pierre Gasly pitted for his penalty for 5-second penalty, and afterwards Verstappen pitted on 24th lap.
right,
On
yep,
23rd lap, Bottas pitted, and afterwards,
24.
yeah,
gasless
24.
penalty. However,
yeah. So
the battle.
yeah,
I mean, Lance Stroll went off and rejoined, hadn't been that much on the gas. It's all up in the air. But that was some bold move from the Canadian that has to be appreciated on Aston
Yeah.
Martin, which is somewhat not meeting the expectation. All the hype that Otmar had created pre-season and Sebastian going into Aston Martin. Let's not get into all of that. I'm already frustrated with Aston Martin, but
Yeah. It's
I
just a
was gonna
similar.
say that.
It's just a similar. In a nutshell, it's just a similar situation what we had with Ferrari in 2020.
yeah,
There's
exactly.
just some
Yeah.
sort of
Exactly,
similar situation with Aston
exactly.
Right.
Martin with this year.
The only
You
That's
unfortunate
see that.
it from my side.
the only unfortunate thing here is that Seb is again at the receiving end.
Exactly. And the point is that Otmar is still saying that we have made some changes in this car now after the Portimao GP, and now we are gonna see many evolution from these two drivers. We're gonna see our car in the points and everything, and yet they are not having the same race pace as the midfields. So
Exactly.
again, Otmar is hyping Aston Martin. Again, he's doing the same thing again and again, and he is not realizing that his car is not yet to challenge all those midfield cars. You have to
Yeah.
work on it. You have to come back next year, or in after 10 races, you have to look into your car and think about that. It's not still having. We have to make some other changes because there are some changes you can make. You have some points and all that we covered in our first podcast,
Right.
but let's see what they do.
Uh,
I was just hyping about Aston Martin.
looking at the main rivalries on track, Mercedes and Red Bull are having their thing. Finally, we are getting to see Ferrari versus McLaren, a legendary rivalry. Do you think that
Yeah,
Alpine versus Aston Martin can be a thing? Bro, take it up.
Yeah, I was hyping about Aston Martin because they just said that we just have a similarities in the Mercedes rear suspension and our suspension, and when they say they have similar structure, what is about. And I was kind of hoping that that car would perform really well, but yeah, that would be a uh, teams to watch in this long season. I would just Alpine and Aston Martin. But yeah, Alpine is better. So, we have seen after Portimao, they have a great upgrades.
Yeah.
Both drivers are, Ocon is performing very well. And yeah, so yeah, Alpine is
Race pace though, the qualifying was amazing from both the Alpines.
P5.
Pace,
Yeah.
I think they are having same problem as Williams. As soon as it gets, again, this is my, something that I noticed. I'm not sure if this is the case. As soon as the wind picks up, especially when it's crosswind, Alpine seems to struggle. Again, nothing concrete, just my something that I noticed. They seem to struggle more.
And mostly, if you notice that it only happens when it's a race day. So I think they are making some changes after, before the race day, after the qualifying and before the race day. There is a timeline between those two, and they are doing something with the car. I think they're trying to try some new mods or anything.
Actually, you
They
cannot
are doing something with it
after
with
qualifying. There are park forming conditions, so you can just change your front wing angles. Not
Mhm.
not much
Yeah.
that you can change. So
You
I
are not allowed to like go on to very
no,
much high.
I'm not saying I'm not saying there's this. I'm just saying that as you said, the front wing changes and that, because I think they're trying to go for some new engine more than anything. Because if they have the pace in qualifying, why they don't have the pace in race? Either they could keep up the pace only for that qualifying, because in qualifying you don't have to go for 10 laps or 15 laps.
that's the point.
You only have to go.
Uh,
Yeah, huh.
yeah, the thing is that
Yeah, please go ahead.
in quali they have very less fuel, and in race start they have lots of fuel, and the balance of the car changes. So yeah, the car is not adaptable as other cars, that when their fuel is low and their fuel is high, the balance does not, the balance is not great in that Alpine car. It seems like that.
Exactly. But after this, we had the first pit stop had come in, and the first major pit stop that everyone were anticipating was Red Bull. And to everyone's surprise, Red Bull were not on their marks. They pitted Max and did a 4-second pit stop. They could do a double stack in that time frame. And Max, I mean,
it
Max was literally very calm about the whole thing because I might
it
get Lewis later on, but it backfired. But yeah, your thoughts on Red
no,
Bull pit stop?
I thought it was Max's call to pit earlier
It was
than Lewis Hamilton,
it was
because yeah, it was Max's call, because and it was a sudden call. It wasn't like a lap ago he said I'm gonna pit on the next lap. It was like it was his instincts that he said that I'm gonna pit in this lap, and the guys weren't ready. They were still when Max came in, they got in to take the left rear and left front.
Yeah.
Yeah,
actually they
that
were
took the
anticipating
4-second pit stop.
the tires were on the
We
blanket
literally
already.
saw that thing. The car stopped and a guy from the back of the
Yeah,
car like
rear
carrying
right.
the rear light.
And this thing
Yeah,
they pulled it off in
exactly.
4 seconds. So if we put it like that, that is some great feat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good
Yeah,
one.
exactly. Aston Martin did a 4-second pit stop even after having all four tires ready.
And
So
it was Sebastian Vettel again. So
Well,
yeah, and it was Sebastian Vettel again.
shout out to that mechanic who knew that the tire was punctured in Alfa
exactly,
Romeo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Great
exactly.
guy, great guy.
he was right.
Great.
He was
There,
pushing
He
the
was.
tire.
I just remember he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just talking, talk.
I mean,
amazing.
that was some experience thing going around in that Alpha garage.
Yes.
So yeah, a lot of I think more action in the pit lane itself rather than the on track action. But yeah, at least something
It's
to see.
Catalonia, baby.
Huh?
You can't predict anything. It's Catalonia, baby. You can't predict anything.
Yeah.
You have a battle in the pits on the racetrack.
I mean, the track itself is infamous just because to add to its, infamity, I don't know if that is a word or anything, but yeah, to add to all the woes, this bad.
Gotcha.
Add to all the woes, the 2018, 19, and 20 Grand Prix over here have been so lame that people weren't expecting anything from this Grand Prix itself. So anything that would spark up the race is more than welcome.
Yeah.
This interruption had all to do with Zoom meeting limits. We are still on
This
the
interruption is sponsored by
This,
Zoom.
exactly. This is sponsored by Zoom.
so thanks to our sponsors, we had to introduce this card to restart this meeting. Okay, regardless, the next incident was Lewis Hamilton pitting again, surprising everyone at the Red Bull. Even GP went on the radio to say it's Hungary 2019 all over again. Yet they decided not to pit Verstappen just to keep the track position, which they did
Yeah.
beautifully. So yeah, your thoughts on it,
Yeah,
Robo?
that is my question to all of you, starting with Vanshil. That what do you think if not just all us needs answer, everyone needs answer. What if Red Bull pitted Max Verstappen after 2 laps after Hamilton's pit? Would they be able to win? Would
On
they, if yeah, please go ahead.
on the fresher rubber, I think even if it was the very next lap or the lap after it, Max on the fresher rubber would be definitely more, more fresh than Lewis Hamilton's tire towards the end. The fuel on the car would be reduced. So Max could have, I'm not sure, Max could have good chance, but then again, it's Spain. You have to consider all the traffic. Although it is
Exactly.
back markers, but you have to consider the traffic. So I think that could have played a big part on why Red Bull decided to go against it and did what they did, that instead of doing
But
this and losing
exact,
out on P2, because Valtteri also had some good pace in P3. So if they decided to pit and Max gets stuck in traffic, they would not only lose P2, they could probably lose fastest lap 2 and concede P2 to come P3. So I think this is why Red Bull decided to go against the pit stop.
yeah, but if you see it properly, then you've seen that Max Verstappen was, tempering his tires. He was nursing his tires so that he could stay till end without pitting himself. So he wouldn't able to lose his first position, and yet I think if what Red Bull could have done, that they could have told Verstappen that go ahead for these 2-3 laps as fast as you can, use all the tires you have, and we are gonna pit after you. That and you create as much gap as you can in those 2-3 laps.
Actually, the thing was,
Wouldn't it be better?
when Lewis pitted, Verstappen did had that much good tires at his disposal. The tires were done at that point, according to me. Because
I know, but as we all saw and as we all heard from the team radio and everything, that he was nursing his tire because they wanted to go till the end on the tires. But afterward, because they didn't expected to Mercedes to pull out Hungary 2019. They didn't thought that they were gonna do it again. And after they saw that they did it again, then I think they could have done was that told Verstappen that go as fast as you can, use all the tires you have, and then if you don't have a much grip, then we are gonna pit. Then we're gonna use that fresher mediums.
right,
That would have probably got in their favor, and probably that would have helped Max Verstappen keep his lead probably because Red Bull was much faster than Valtteri Bottas, definitely.
But guys, at the same time, we are considering in this scenario, in this hypothetical scenario, we are considering if Verstappen would have written. Considering the
Yeah.
situation over there, the only option was mediums. The only option. Do Red Bull had enough mediums or lower run mediums
Yeah, that was
in their
also a
pocket?
question. If they had it at all.
If they had it, they would have definitely moved for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you would have noticed, even after 59th battle, lap 59 battle between Verstappen and Lewis, they shifted to new softs. They weren't even used. But at the same time, and at 43, Lewis shifted on to some run mediums, I guess. It had done few kilometers, but they were fresh enough to compete with Verstappen at that point. So, like, for me, it's a single doubt. Do they had enough mediums or do they had enough low run mediums in their pocket to change the tires or not?
I guess that's why Horner and Max also was very publicly about Perez. If Perez was in P4 or even in P3, that pit stop would have been possible. He can force Valtteri to mistake or even use his tires, destroy his
Exactly.
tire,
But
and
and we are also forgetting, and Bhrugu, we are also forgetting that Max under pressure, he can make mistakes.
yeah, yeah.
He can make mistakes, but at the same time, Lewis, he is consistent player.
Lewis is Lewis is perfect, always perfect.
But
Max, there
That's the
are
thing
few
that
chances, not like less than 1%, but there are chances that Max can
Yeah,
make a mistake.
that's the thing about these two teams, right? In this season, that both of these teams' second drivers aren't performing they were supposed to. Valtteri Bottas isn't giving everything he has. I think he's trying, but he is not able to perform the way he wants. In the other way, Perez is still trying. He's still lacking. He is not in the top threes. To give Max Verstappen that support he needs, and that's why these both teams are gonna be till the end in that constructor championship
Yeah.
competition. Because of
yeah.
this, that's why in this season we are seeing that second drivers are being something like, I don't know what's happening with them, but I'm just not saying those top two teams second driver performing as they were performing in previous seasons and previous races.
exactly. But
Yeah,
this
Perez.
second driver thing, yeah, go ahead, Bhrugu, you were saying something.
Yeah, Perez in quali clipping just some gravel was very rookie mistake, which you would not expect from driver like Perez. That was just Daniel Kvyat in Japan stuff
Uh,
going on. And I am a Sergio fan, but yeah, man, that was
We
a
all
very
are
rookie.
Sergio fans.
Yeah,
I mean, this second driver talk brings us to lap 52. Lewis Hamilton versus Valtteri Bottas. Bottas was given instruction not to hold
the
on.
Finally,
battle on which Toto's table would be shaking like
and finally we able to see Nico Rosberg somewhere in that.
somewhere, still
Finally we
somewhere.
want that we want that Mercedes battle since the Nico left, and we wanted this battle, and finally Valtteri is saying that I'm here to race. I'm not gonna give somebody
Exactly.
else's my place like that. If you want my place, go and overtake me.
The
Try to
only
overtake me.
person,
I'm not gonna give you like that.
that could
yeah,
bring the old Silver War back to its old glory is Nico Rosberg himself. But regardless,
No, I think there's one person who can do it, and he's George Russell.
I don't
yeah.
Sake.
I don't think that it would be with Hamilton. As soon as Russell lands in Mercedes, it would take a couple of years. But if it is Bottas versus Russell, then definitely there would be a silver war. Yeah, this
I was saying about Bottas versus Russell. I wasn't saying Hamilton versus. Where they
We
think
we
about it, where if Hamilton is gonna stay in the next season too, then Bottas going to stay in Mercedes too. They're not gonna swap
Okay,
Bottas or Russell
on this topic,
because
Akshat, on this topic, Akshat, post-race reviews and post-race interviews, Lewis Hamilton just said that for extension of the contract or to
Yeah.
stay in Mercedes, he need to get to contact with
Yeah,
Mercedes.
usually
like
he
now.
starts that talks in February and January.
February.
But yeah, he said he had a very bad winter. He and Toto himself had a very bad winter.
They
yeah.
couldn't even enjoy it.
Just
So you might expect some good results, or you might have a good news.
Bottas was given order that not to hold Lewis up, and Bottas like, hello, sorry, what did you say? Hello.
I can't hear you probably. Sorry, are you saying something? Because there's too much wind in my
Radio
ears
check.
right now. I can't hear it.
Radio check.
Oh,
Radio check.
Video check exactly. But that,
Yeah,
no, well,
exactly.
it's James time right now.
that is Valtteri we all need to see. Although Hamilton was on much fresher tires, but that is the kind of battle we expect from Mercedes.
I want to hear Walter say that again. Whomever it concern.
This,
F you.
F you.
But yeah, exactly, because literally right now Toto was clearly saying that you don't have the pace, just get out of the way, Hamilton pass, because we want the first P1, and if you are not able to provide us that position right now, so just get out of the way and let Hamilton pass by. And Valtteri was like, what Valtteri clearly implement that if you want that position, you have to take it from me. I'm not gonna give it to you like that.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
But Lewis was like, oh, anyways.
But in that,
very good overtake over there. Seriously.
but exactly, yeah, but in that manner, in that lap, Lewis lost 3/10 of a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sector
So
2.
yeah,
Can he?
A complicated one. Sector 2. So
That didn't make at that much.
very good turns over there.
He was almost
because he was like
by 2 seconds.
exactly, he was closing the gap by 1.8 second in every lap. Man, that is some consistent performance from Lewis Hamilton. I mean, I've never seen a driver so consistent like him.
Do you even expect that Mercedes?
Dead live.
Sorry guys. Do you even expect that Mercedes relying on a driver who is going to cover the 22-second gap and going to overtake
Exactly.
race
And
leader in very last laps? How can you expect this strong of planning?
and there are less than 20 laps left, only in around
Exactly.
18 or 17 laps. You have to cover 22 seconds of gap. And there it's not like
seriously.
yeah, and it's not like you have a you have a big gap in front of you. You don't have to overtake any cars. You have to overtake those last cars. You have to lap those cars, and then you have to overtake Verstappen. So it's an amazing performance by Lewis. We've seen that performance since from his debut. 2007 Canada first pole, and 2021 Spain 100 poles.
100.
I mean that guy is breaking every record is there in F1's history, and he is creating new records, and I think he's gonna break his own records in future if he stays in Mercedes.
I mean,
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton for you, ladies and gentlemen. And this brings us to the last major incident of this race on lap 59. After having driven crazy on those new set of mediums, Lewis Hamilton caught up to the gearbox of Max Verstappen and passed. I mean, wow, he did it. He did it. If only person who could pull this off was Lewis Hamilton, and I think Max Verstappen had accepted it. I think 3 or 4 laps ago that I'm gonna be overtaken. So better prepare something alternate.
Yeah, and he realized that he accepted it on the turn 30 when he saw Lewis Hamilton exactly behind him, only 5 tenths away from him, because he knew because there's a big straight coming from turn 16 to turn 1, and the gap is only 5 tenths. So if he opens DRS, he's gonna get slipstream DRS, and no one could stop. then only Mazepin could stop Lewis Hamilton from overtaking him.
And I think he did. I think he did. Toto directly contacted FIA in the middle of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally we could see those graphics. You know, a team contacting FIA directly. Yeah, new graphics team contacting FIA that, and Toto was literally frustrated. Michael, blue flags, blue flags. That guy is costing his position.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Michael, he said, Mickey, get this guy out.
Mickey.
Mickey.
Yeah, Mickey.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Mickey.
imagine the frustration on Toto Wolff's face, and I pity that table, man. It would have received some, punches around the whole Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the battle like this, Lewis and Max have battled in Bahrain, where Max lost out to track limits, in Imola, down in turn one, in Portimao, on and off, yes, and in Spain again. So it's 4 out of 4. Lewis having 3 of them, Max having last laugh only in one of them. But do you think, our final question of the day, do you think that Max could go all the way and take it to Lewis and get that title? We'll start from Bhrugu.
Yeah, I was saying that let's start from Bhrugu this time.
Yeah, I guess if he makes less mistake, I mean, yeah, we have seen mature Max in current years, and yeah, he could if Red Bull and Sergio Perez is up to that form which is in Max is having, and yeah, I read it somewhere. Then in 2016, Nico went and just removed the color from his helmet to reduce 60 grams of the weight. Yeah, in 2015 he was running some greenish neon color helmet, and he removed that color just to lose some 60 grams, and and you need that when you're going against Sir Lewis Hamilton. You need that thing. So yeah, yeah, and it's a long season. It's a very long season, and yeah, we have 14 points of gap already in 4 races.
Your
So
thoughts?
it's a tough.
Really. And I want to add something that even in Imola GP, Verstappen could win that race because there was a mishap in, I think, not a mishap, they not 100% was particular on their strategy. Mercedes wasn't that, 100% sure on their strategy. They pulled Valtteri Bottas earlier, but not earlier than Max Verstappen. So they couldn't, they wasn't able to undercut Max Verstappen. And those kind of things, moved favor into Red Bull, and that's how Max Verstappen was able to win that champion, that race. Sorry, my apology. That race, but if that wouldn't have happened, we would have seen Lewis Hamilton win that race or Valtteri Bottas win that race again. So Mercedes has a strong strategy team, has a strong car, has a strong team. Valtteri Bottas isn't performing that great, but he's still on podium. while Red Bull is still trying to get Perez to that position. Perez is still struggling to get into top 5, and podium is still far away from him. So this kind of things isn't in favor of Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is giving his 110%. So he's still he is giving everything, but there is some strategy issue. There is a second driver issue, and those kind of team use a team effort. When there is a team sport, use a team effort. Red Bull is lacking in that. So if they could have debrief on those kind of things, and they could have focused on Perez more than Verstappen, because Verstappen could do it on his own. He can go for a whole race without talking to his team, because that guy can think his own strategy. While Perez is in new team, so he needs that support from his team. So I think they should have support more Sergio Perez and think about him more. So he could be able to get that podium away from Mercedes and give more points to Red Bull and Verstappen.
Exactly. And do you think that Max could make it, Paaji?
Tough question, obviously, because we have seen the battles up till now, that how Mercedes is showing their dominance like bluntly, seriously. So it's tough, but let's hope for the best. At least we are having a very good season so far. At least we are seeing the competitions in the podium positions, in the midfield positions. So yeah, hope for the best and just hope that midfield battle becomes even more stronger after the summer break.
Exactly, man. We all hope for the same. After all, we love the sport, and we would love to see a repeat of 2012
And
championship
just
anytime soon.
just before ending it, up to driver standing, we have just seen battling for P1 between Hamilton and Verstappen. We are unsure that a P3 battle is still going on between Bottas and
Exactly, my man. Exactly, my man. We are
That
but
finally seeing Ferrari giving hell to McLaren, and McLaren is still, trembling that if they're gonna get that P3 mark on constructor championship or
three,
not.
three battles, Bottas, Norris, and Leclerc, 40 to
Yeah,
47 points.
that is
man.
something to watch out for.
7 point battle. That 7 point battle. And Charles
Exactly, man.
Leclerc, just we are not mentioning it. We are not mentioning Charles Leclerc in this race, but his P4 was consistent. He was
Very good.
driving amazing, and he was able to keep the Ferrari in those top five positions.
Yeah,
And
that's where
a very good point in the back.
that's exactly where Red Bull is lacking to put Perez in that position.
Right.
So that's where Max Verstappen is struggling to get that, points away from Mercedes and get those wins for Red Bull. And exactly, my man, exactly as you said, Ferrari is showing what they are doing past those years as a legendary team. And we're going to see Ferrari in those top three teams. I hope they end up as a P3 constructor this time. And we see Ferrari be the constructor championship in the next season. Let's hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See what happens.
Exactly, man. Every Formula One fan would like to see Tifosi on the top step in both the driver championship
Exactly.
and the constructor championship and the very near future. So we hope, we wish the team from Maranello all the very best. Although they are not probably gonna listen to our podcast right now, it's gonna take some effort to reach that level. But we hope that we get to that level and Ferrari get to that level very soon. But until then, we will see you in the next podcast, the Monaco podcast, and we will be back on social media for sure. Akshat, it's on to you.
From tomorrow. No, 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 not from tomorrow. From just in an hour. I'm gonna post something on social media. I'm working on it
let's
right
see.
now.
Let's see.
Yeah. No, no, no. You will see. Not let's see. You will see.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, we are gonna work.
this was our official social media admin reveal right here. Akshat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
You're gonna see much more. I'm gonna be much more active on social media from now on. We're gonna work on it. As I said, please look out for our Sabinala Championship. We are gonna be launching our trailer soon in 2-3 days in this week, 100%, and you're gonna love it. And you're gonna love that championship. I hope every other drivers follow that too because they're gonna love it too. Because this is a fun championship. We are not here to mock anyone. We are out of
It's
respect.
just for
This
fun.
is just
It's just for fun.
this is just
Yeah.
for fun championship. Yeah, we are not. Probably F1 and FIA catch up to this and they start their new championship. I hope. Yeah,
exactly, man.
let's see.
Yeah, so this was us bringing you the podcast from the Spanish Grand Prix, and we will see you next time when we will review Monaco. Until then, stay safe, guys, and keep
Stay
watching.
safe. Yeah, please stay at
Yeah.
your home if you don't need to go out. Please stay safe in this pandemic and protect yourself and your loved ones. Keep
Yeah.
following us and keep watching podcasts from the Pitlane.
Uh,
Yeah,
ciao,
peace
guys.
out.
Great one.